All right. Today we have a COVID report that is sadly and positively, more of the same in what we're seeing. Today we're reporting 1,447 new cases of COVID-19. Now, right now, we're just barely on track to be above last week, but we can now tell you, based on the data we're looking at, that last week's numbers were depressed a little bit because of testing, which was the weather. The weather hit how many people were being tested. Last Wednesday, and this is trying to get as close to the data as we can, of last week with the weather, only 9,600 people got tested, 14,000 got tested this Wednesday. The numbers are even more stark on different days. So what I think is we're going to see a little bit of an aberration in our continued downward trend, but for the weather, we would see a continued steady downward trend. Kentuckians currently hospitalized, down 40 to 843. That's good news. 8 less in the ICU, 10 more on a ventilator. This is all due to COVID. Generally pretty stable. Our positivity rate, it's the best news of the day, down to 5.67%. We want to see that continue to drop. That's the leading indicator as opposed to the lagging indicator, which are cases that tell us that we have had a natural downward progression. But the hard thing is we're still dealing with the impact of the winter surge, and we're still seeing the devastation that is COVID. And we've lost now well over 500,000 Americans. We talk a lot about Kentuckians, and we should. But Americans, we're all members of this country. And now that we've lost more than World War II, World War I, and Vietnam combined, we've got to know that this has been, in many ways, the war of wars, and that our loss is significant and tragic. And even as we come out of this, even as we see that hope in front of us, that we have lost so much, and our trauma is going to endure, and we're going to have to give ourselves space and understanding as we come out of this. It's likely that there'll be those days where we think we should be so happy that there's no more COVID, but we're still hurting so much because of everyone and everything lost during it. So let's go ahead and let's try to prepare ourselves for what's to come, knowing that an event like this, with what it inflicts, is going to take us a while to get over. And there's a question of, do we truly want to get over everything of it, with what it's taught us, with how it's shown us we are all interconnected? So let's make sure we take stock of that as we look at a light at the end of the tunnel. What brought me to this point, kind of the hard point, is that we're reporting 43 deaths today. Now, most of those are recent. Some of them are ones that have gone through our committee. But regardless, it's 43 additional Kentuckians lost, and that makes it a hard day. If there is a bright spot, only 5 of them were in long-term care, or that we know they're in long-term care now, meaning vaccinations work. If you're out there, please get vaccinated. This is the way that we get out of this and we stop having days where we lose 45 Kentuckians to COVID. Today's deaths include a 73-year-old man from Bell, a 95-year-old man from Boone, a 78-year-old man from Elliott, a 91-year-old man from Fayette, 3 Floyd County residents, 2 women ages 59 and 80, and then a 72-year-old man, a 75-year-old man from Graves, a 60-year-old woman from Hardin, a 70-year-old man from Henry, a 21-year-old woman from Hopkins County. A number from Jefferson, women ages 70, 76, 78, and 81, and men ages 57, 63, 79, 79, 81, 90, and 97. 95-year-old woman from Kenton, a 73-year-old man from Laurel, a 79-year-old man from Laurel, a 67-year-old woman from Lawrence County, 2 individuals from McCracken, a woman age 78 and a man age 79, 62-year-old man from McCreary. In Madison, 2 individuals, both men, ages 84 and 85. 65-year-old man from Marshall. 2 individuals from Meade, both men, ages 72 and 87. 49, a 49-year-old man from Menifee. This hadn't gotten easier in 11 months. I mean, every day you feel people's loss. 85-year-old woman from Nelson. 2 men from Nelson, ages 89 and 93. 72-year-old man from Perry. A 58-year-old man from Pulaski. A 71-year-old woman from Shelby. An 87-year-old man from Spencer. And a 72-year-old man from Taylor.